Hey, peace. What's happening, everyone? On our deal with.
Ooh, yeah. Nah, nah, nah.
Suddenly there came a sound from heaven, as of a rushing mighty wind, like the rushing of a mighty wind, like the rushing of a mighty wind. Come and fill our hearts again, like the rushing of a mighty wind.
Yeah, blessings. Once again, you know the routine. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. All of that helps. So you don't know. Without any further ado, let's get started. Yeah, so I'm trying to figure out exactly what your main point is with, the fact that white people came here. You said this was the trash bin they considered, like Thomas Jefferson and considered, and the English considered America to be the trash bin, and they were just pretty much just sending their trash here.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me just play it. Hang on. I'll play it again.
No, you played it. You played it a few times. I've heard it.
Hang on.
To describe these people was waste people. So therefore, the idea of trash. Thomas Jefferson, Abigail Adams referred to the rural white population as rubbish. Now
there you go. That's just fact, bro. That's just scholarship. White people white people lie to us. They lie to us, bro.
But if this is your homeland, is that to say that Thomas Jefferson and them thought of you guys as trash as well? Because if they thought of America as a trash bin, and this is your homeland, did they think of you as trash as well?
No, they thought of white people. Thomas Jefferson thought of white people.
But they thought of America as a trash bin.
No, yeah. They used America as a trash bin for European lowlives. What's up, Pinky? But yeah, they used our home America as a trash bin, and they did it to Jamaica. They did it to your country. They used your country as a trash bin. They did it to all
the New World.
They did it to Australia, New Zealand. So it's just not America or Latin America. They used this whole planet as a trash bin for European lowlives. That's just
right.
A fact,
and you mentioned that when they came here, even the slaves were at a loss as to how decrepit they were.
Yeah, our ancestors are the ones who actually came up with the term white trash. Like a lot of people don't realize that. But
are you saying that even the slaves here were in a better condition than these white people that came here?
Well, it depends. Okay, a lot of times the slaves were in a much better condition than these white people were brought here to die. These white people were illiterate. These white people were dumb. These white people were unskilled. These white people were serfs. You got to remember, 90% of all Europeans were serfs in Europe. That's essentially a slave. So they were serfs. They were a bottom caste. These people were desperate. They were illiterate, toothless, unskilled. They came here to die. So yeah, even as slaves, they at many times they lived better than these poor whites, and almost all white people were poor. Yeah.
So American slavery may not be the worst atrocity in human history if these people that came here were in a worse condition.
Yeah, well, we're talking about physically worse. Now, we were worse because we were enslaved and sold and bought. Abraham Lincoln spoke about that.
If your living conditions were better, and if you're looking at these people as if something is really wrong with them, then, it seems as if your slavery isn't as bad as whatever they were encountering in Europe.
Yeah, well,
their lifestyle here, once they got here, sounds as if the slaves were living a better life than them.
Yeah, well, because we're the ones who built Thomas Jefferson, George Washington. We built their mansions and ran their mansions. We built their business and ran their business. Yeah, our ancestors were geniuses, bro. And on top of that, check this out. On top of that, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, and those guys, they would bring it. Hang on. They would bring in the very best from Europe to teach our ancestors the elite European ways of doing things. So our ancestors were on another level. These white people were just trailer parks from Europe, trailer park people from Europe. I say this with due respect. That's just history. So yeah,
So it
our
was worse to
ancestors.
be-
Like, look at
So it was worse to be from a trailer park in Europe than to be a slave in America.
Well, listen. Again, let me tell you what Abraham Lincoln said. Abraham Lincoln said that throughout slavery, these poor whites, these poor European peasants in the North, working in the industrial, working in the industries, right, the cotton mills and stuff, they used to complain, saying that the white people themselves of the North, these poor whites, complain like, hey, we live below the level of slaves. And even the poor whites in the South said, man, we're living below the level of these slaves. In fact, throughout slavery, white people called themselves slaves. But Abraham Lincoln said, no. There's a difference, though. You guys are free. They're not selling your mothers and fathers and brothers and sisters on the auction block, as I've seen many times done to these slaves. So Abraham Lincoln said, no. I don't want to hear any comparison that you guys are worse off than slaves. Yeah, your condition many times is worse off, but you're not a slave. They're not selling your family members. And Abraham Lincoln drew a line in the sand, and he told white people, cut that shit out. Yeah, you're degraded. You're fucked up. Many of you dying. Yes, that's true. But you're not a slave, though. See, that's the difference. So just understand
most of them were
that's the
what?
difference.
Indentured. Most of them were what? Indentured servants.
Yeah, indentured servants who came here to die. Yep.
I mean, what's so much better about being if you're an indentured servant who came here to die, you might as well be a slave on a slave block. I don't really see.
No. That's a big
where
difference.
It's better to be. I don't see where it's better to be in a trash bin waiting to die than to be a slave. I just don't see where Thomas Jefferson, Abraham Lincoln's words would have done much of anything to comfort them, because they're in a trash bin ready to die.
Let me ask you this. Would you rather be at the point of death but still have a chance, right? Or would you want to see your daughter sold, your father sold, your mama sold, your son sold, your grandparents sold? Come on, there's Abraham Lincoln said it.
I'm not going to choose that. I'm not going to choose.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'd rather be a slave. I'd rather be a slave than to die.
Okay, then that's you then.
I'd rather be a slave than be on a trash bin waiting to die.
Okay, then that's you. I guess why that explains why Jamaica's third world. Hang on. I know it's your stuff. I see why Jamaica's the condition. I can see why Jamaica is the condition it's in, because people. Hey, Pinky and Tasha D, American Dream said he would rather be a slave than to be a poor white living on the edge of the precipice of death. But go ahead.
Even the American slaves prefer to be a slave, because you just said when these Europeans came here, they were looking at them like, these people I'd rather not be them. So even
they call them white trash.
They preferred. Imagine what you're saying. The slaves were calling these people white trash.
Yeah, no, hang on. Let me play. Hang on.
Since we have been an agrarian nation for over half our history.
This is how bad off these white people were. Check it out.
It's important to pay attention to rural ways of thinking about class. And the idea of white trash actually was first used.
White trash. Our ancestors actually created the word white trash. That's how much our ancestors as slaves looked down at these poor whites. They thought of the poor whites as white trash, because these people came here in a very degraded way.
Right, and if slaves are looking down on them, that means that the slaves thought they were better than them. So
I agree with I agree with that. Our ancestors were around the bourgeois of Europe. Yeah, they definitely felt like we're better than these poor whites. This is white trash. Our ancestors as slaves. Check this out. There was a story I read a couple years ago, and I can't remember where it is, but one of our ancestors, she worked in the big house. She was a slave in the big house, and they would send, of course, the slaves on errands. And so she went to the post office, and the slave woman dressed very fashionable, like the slave owners, or very fashionable, right? And so she was waiting in line at the post office. He said, and she but related, and so many who can write wrote it down. She said there were some poor white people in line in front of her at the post office, and she put up her nose like, ooh. These people are so uncouth. She was like, oof, these people are nasty. She actually said that. She goes, like, she stood in the post office behind these poor whites, and she was like, these people are fucking awful. They're just. And she also said that the house slaves used to mock the poor whites that would come to the back door begging the slave owner for food or a job. that the house slaves were like, oh, you got these poor whites in the back. Oh, just go away. Yeah, they would come begging at the master's back door, and the house slaves would look down at them like, oof, these people are so uncouth. Yeah, slaves. Yeah.
So why do you suppose their descendants, the descendants of these poor white indentured servants that were brought here to die, why do you suppose their descendants are not seeking reparations, but the descendants of slaves who are in a better condition are seeking reparations? Why do you think that is?
Oh, because they were not slaves. We were slaves.
But it was better to be a slave.
Yeah, but that's still slavery. That's still slavery, and one was not slave. See, these poor whites.
But it was better to be a slave.
I
get that that's still slavery.
No.
Hey,
listen.
Are you saying that there's no room for reparations for being an indentured servant?
Listen.
For being used as indentured servants?
Hang on,
there's no reparations for that? There's no reparations for being put on a trash bin and waiting to die? There's no reparation claim for that?
Hey, hang on. Let me play this. I want you to listen to this. Everybody listen.
I didn't think much of the poor white man.
This is our ancestors talking about these poor whites. Right? This is a former slave talking to the federal government, and they wrote it down, and the guy's just repeating what our ancestors said. Check it out.
We didn't think much of the poor white man. He was down on us. He was driven to it by the rich slave owner.
This is our ancestors as slaves during early 1900s. Our ancestors said we looked down at these poor whites. Listen.
We didn't think much of the poor white man. He was down on us. He was driven to it by the rich slave owner. The rich slave owner wouldn't let his Negro associate with poor white folks.
Listen. Check it out.
The rich slave owner wouldn't let his Negro associate with poor white folks.
I told you, the slave master looked down upon the poor whites in such a disdain that they wouldn't even allow the slaves to be around these poor whites. One more time. Listen.
The rich slave owner wouldn't let his Negro associate with poor white folks.
I mean, that's just what it is, bro. But let me add some texture. After slavery, right, when slavery ended, most of the slaves left the big house. So yeah, our ancestors, like, obviously slavery is worse than being free. I don't care how degraded you are, but our ancestors on one hand said these white people are just degraded people who are literate and they're skilled. They're just called white trash. That's a fact. Our ancestors literally named the term white trash in 1820. They figured it was around 1820 our ancestors named these European peasants white trash. But of course, as Abraham Lincoln said, yeah, these people are white trash, but they're not enslaved. They're not being sold. So yeah. So two things can be true at the same time. Our ancestors looked down upon these poor whites, called them white trash, right? And at the same time, they wanted to be free. Two things can be true at the same time, bro. Now, you said you wanted to be a slave. That's you. Our ancestors, after slavery, most of them, some stayed, but most left the big house. Like, we're out. So, yeah, but you want to be a slave.
Yeah, I mean,
that's fine.
Like,
I respect you. You want to be a slave. That's cool.
You don't. If you say things that are dishonest, it doesn't win you the argument.
What's dishonest?
What I said was
you said you want to be a slave.
I didn't say that. That now you're being dishonest again. What I said was, if I had a choice of being a slave or a white person that was sent here to a trash bin waiting to die, I would choose to be a slave.
Well, hang on. You would want to be a slave,
And what I also said was that even your ancestors would prefer being slaves than these white people because they look down on them. So I'm not doing anything different from what your ancestors did.
Okay, hang on.
So I didn't say I want to be a slave. Like, that's just a stupid thing to say.
No, you said if you had a choice, you would be a slave.
More from you.
No,
I said if I had a choice between being a slave and waiting to die, I would be a slave. Which one would you choose?
Again,
you just rather die?
No, I told you I'd rather be free and take. I already told you
that's not a choice. But
no.
Of the two, which is a choice?
Oh, I would choose the white man. I would choose death. I would just build. I would choose death, bro.
Your
Ain't no,
ancestors didn't choose that. Most
no,
of
because
your
they were enslaved. No, no,
ancestors
no, no,
didn't
no.
choose that.
You can't
No,
use that. No, American dream. Look, you can't be this dumb.
No,
You cannot be this dumb.
You're obviously
You
showing.
cannot be this
You're
dumb.
obviously.
No,
but
no,
some of
you
your
cannot be
ancestors
this
chose
dumb.
that.
We
Hello,
fought for our
hello.
freedom. We fought for our
Africans
freedom.
A lot of them jumped off of the ships and chose death. Your ancestors
We
did
don't
not.
come from
They chose
Africa,
to be
bro.
slaves.
We don't come from
Okay.
Africa, so you can't use that argument.
That's right.
You come from Africans.
Yeah.
But man, I can't believe what you're saying,
Your
bro.
ancestors did not choose death. They were slaves. They didn't kill themselves.
Yes, they were
chose
slaves.
to be-
Some chose
Why
death.
didn't they kill
Okay,
themselves?
okay. They
So
didn't
why
choo-
didn't they kill themselves?
For what? For
To
what?
choose death. To choose
For
death.
why
like
choose
you.
death when you got your
choose
mother there,
death.
your
You
father
just
there, your
said
kids
you
there?
would kill
That is
yourself.
some chose death, but why?
You
That
just
would
said
make
you would choose
no.
death.
That's
For the same
crazy,
reason
bro.
You would choose death. For the same reason you would choose death.
No.
So how come you would choose death, but your
American dream.
ancestors
Look.
wouldn't?
Are you this dishonest, bro?
Am I
You
being
said
dishonest?
no.
Why
Yes,
is
you
you're the one
are.
being dishonest?
Hey, American dream. Listen to yourself.
You
gave me
said
a-
you would choose death.
American
and your
dream.
ancestors
Listen
didn't
to
choose
me.
death. I'm more like your ancestors than you.
Okay, bro. I don't want to take you down. You got to let me have a conversation with you, bro.
No, you're not
On
trying
your-
to have a conversation.
On
I
your
knew you
channel,
weren't trying to have a
no,
conversation
American
when you
dream.
started
Listen,
being dishonest.
American dream. Listen, when I'm on your channel, I give you all the respect and space. You got to do this.
No, but I'm not dishonest. No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not respectful to be dishonest.
Okay.
You said I said I wanted to be a slave. That's very dishonest.
Okay, say it again. You said if you were given a choice
I said
between
if I have a choice between slavery and death, I'd choose being a slave. That doesn't mean I want to be a slave.
No.
What is
But
wrong
okay,
with you?
no. Look, right there. You said you would choose to be a slave. Yeah, you said
If
you
I
would
had a
choose.
choice
Yeah.
between
Yes.
slavery and death, I
You
would
yes.
choose slavery. If I had the choice between slavery
Yes,
and
if
freedom,
you had the
I'd
choice,
choose
you would choose
If I
slavery.
had a choice between
Yes.
slavery and freedom, I'd choose freedom. What is wrong with
What are you talking about? Now you just switched it up. Now you said, "Well, I've had a choice between being
you? I thought
free."
you were smarter than this.
Okay, bro. You got to be quiet, bro. I'll bring you up in a second. You literally said if you had a choice between being on the edge of death or enslaved, you would be enslaved. I said, hell no. I would rather be on the edge of death. So, bro, that's what you literally said. You literally said, hey, if I was going to be a white indentured servant on the edge of death or enslaved and live a better life, I would choose to be a slave. That's what you said. And so you would choose to be a
And
slave.
your ancestors looked down on the people that were on the verge of death.
Yes.
As if they were better. So they chose to
Yes.
they preferred being slaves. They decided
Okay.
they made this.
Let me take you down. That's where you're wrong. They were enslaved. That is where you're wrong. I see why Jamaica's third world. I'm going to bring you back up. That's where you're wrong. They look down on poor whites. They call them white trash, but they did not want to be enslaved. They were forced to stay enslaved. You see the difference? You're acting like they call them white trash and like, yeah, we're going to stay here enslaved and look down on you. No, we look down on them at the same time. They wanted to be free. And you don't understand that.
They didn't kill themselves.
This is why Jamaica. Okay, listen.
You would kill yourself.
Okay.
You
No,
said
I
you
did.
would
I
kill
never
yourself.
said that. I never
Yes, you
said
did. You
that.
said you would choose death.
Bro.
Doesn't that mean
Choose
killing
death,
yourself?
bro. Choosing death versus killing yourself is two different things. I said I would choose death, not kill myself. That's called unaliving yourself. No, life is gonna have to take me out. Bro, listen to me, American Dream. Just listen. Hang on. I see why Jamaica's third world. I said it before, I'll say it again. You Africans and Caribbeans are lovely people, but many of you, like you lack critical thinking. Everything you're saying is oddball, crazy, upside down. You don't make any sense. You're saying crazy shit. That's why you fled here. Your people fled to America because Jamaica's a failed state. Beautiful people. I love my Jamaican dude, right? At the Jamaican jerk chicken hunt. But I'm talking about you and people like you. Too many Jamaicans are like you. You lack critical thinking, bro. Like you make no sense, but you think you make sense. You make no sense, but you think you make sense.
So when did America stop being a trash bin?
America was never a trash bin for us. This is our home. Europeans fled to us. We didn't flee to Europe. No, listen. Hang on, listen.
So when you were a slave, America wasn't a trash bin for you?
Hang on. Look at your screen. Europeans
America was
fled.
only, hold on, America was only a trash bin for indentured servants, not for slaves.
Hang on, I'm gonna give you listen.
What you're
Europeans,
saying, what you're saying, what you're saying.
bro, you gotta let me talk, man. Jeez, I'm trying to answer. You keep talking over me. But the funny thing is, American Dream, when I'm on your channel and other people on your channel, you make sure you get your space to speak. But when you're on my channel and getting your butt kicked, you won't let me speak. Like, jeez, when I'm on your channel, I'm like, hey, when you say, hey, Mr. USA, let me speak. Okay, it's your channel, bro. Look at your screen. Europeans fled to us. We didn't flee to Europe. They fled to us. No, America has never been a trash bin for us. This is our home. Let me show you. Let me show you what I mean. During the height of Jim Crow. We're talking about the height
Even
of
while
Jim
y'all
Crow.
were slaves, this was your home.
Yeah. The height of Jim Crow when we were being lynched. Listen to our ancestors. Listen.
I'm America. I'm American. Praise the Lord. Praise Him holy.
That is the height of Jim Crow. 1941. We were getting lynched left and right, and they said, praise God, we're American. No, America's never been a trash bin. The trash bin has been white people. It's not America. This is our home. Our home is beautiful. It's always
Now you're
been
going back
beautiful.
on your whole video. The lady said the new world was a trash bin. She didn't say.
Yeah, for white
said
people.
America
No,
was
listen.
a trash bin.
For white people, not our ancestors. Notice she didn't say our ancestors. It was a trash bin for the bourgeois of Europe.
The bourgeois that they put to live in your quarters, the bourgeois, the trash bin people, they put right with you. So they thought of you as trash as well.
Oh, okay, listen. You said that.
If you, the indentured servants, were sharing the slave quarters, if they thought indentured servants were trash, then you were trash too, because they put them with you.
Okay, okay. Now hold on. American Dream, I respect you, bro. But this is why Caribbean and Africa, it's you guys are all third world, including Latin America. You guys truly do lack.
See to what I'm saying, like every time
No, American Dream. Let me American Dream. American Dream. No, American Dream. This is why our ancestors. Look at you said everybody. American Dream said that poor white people were right next to our ancestors. American Dream. Listen to our ancestors make you out to be a lie. Listen. I want you to listen.
We didn't think much of the poor white man. He was down on us. He was driven to it by the rich slave owner.
Listen.
The rich slave owner wouldn't let his Negro associate with poor white folks.
Did you hear that? One more time, American Dream. You said that the poor whites were right next to us. Listen to our ancestor who was enslaved. One more time. Listen.
Driven to it by the rich
Listen.
The rich slave owner wouldn't let his Negro associate with poor white folks.
So there you go, American Dream. There you go. So you are a delusional Jamaican who you lack critical thinking, and I respect you, bro. But your ability to comprehend simple things is just you can't do it. Like everything you're saying is just
So
it's crazy, bro. It's crazy, bro.
So it seems as if
I respect you, bro. I respect you.
You think one anecdotal statement by one descendant of a slave saying their rich slave master didn't let them associate with white folks means that no slave associated with these poor white folks. Thomas Sowell has his whole book is about how black culture is really just culture taken from poor white folks. Y'all lived among them. That's your whole culture is taken from them. So hear trying to negate all of that by playing this one video of one guy saying his slave master didn't let him associate with them is ridiculous. But what we do know is his slave master still treated them as if they were slaves.
Okay, listen. If that's the case, let me see this. Listen, I'm going to play Thomas Jefferson one more time.
Waste people. So therefore, the idea of trash. Thomas Jefferson, Abigail Adams referred to the rural white population as rubbish. Now we still hear that. British people still use that term today. But part of what
Hang on. Did I play that part? Hang on.
Thomas Jefferson
Right
and
there.
Abigail Adams referred to the rural white population as rubbish.
Now, what master would refer to white people as rubbish, which is trash, and allow poor whites to be around them? Now, let me address your book about Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell admitted this is something that he believes is not true. It's not true. He believes that. He'll tell you. I've actually heard people, and I've listened to him. He at the end of the day, his book is like, well, I can't prove it, like, but this is what I believe.
Not true. He said what's not true.
That us got our culture from these poor whites Irish. It's a lie. It's a lie.
Did he say that?
No. Check this out. I got one better. Thomas Sowell will tell you, and I've heard him say it. Thomas Sowell says that damn near no listen no listen. Thomas Sowell admitted.
You're lying.
Okay, bro, you gotta let me speak, bro. Thomas Sowell admitted that American scholars, descendants of chattel slaves, all laugh at him. Thomas Sowell admitted. Thomas Sowell, yeah, most of American descendants of chattel slaves, the scholars amongst us, they all laugh at him. So that's how you know. That's how I know it's wrong, because he admits he can't prove it. Like think about it. How can we get our culture from poor white people when white people were not even allowed to be around us like that? How can we get our culture from poor white people when, for a fact, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington brought the bourgeois of Europe to teach our ancestors? On top of that, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin took their slaves to Europe to learn the bourgeois. Like how? Like, it doesn't make any sense, bro. Like, well, no, and on top of that, our ancestors look down at poor whites. And look at two groups look down at poor whites. No, listen. No. I studied Thomas Sowell. He was raised without his mother and father. He was raised. Listen. Thomas Sowell was raised without his mother and father. Thomas Sowell was raised with no mother and father, bro. This dude is lost. He had to go to the army, right, to make a living. But Thomas Sowell said, yeah, I was not raised with a father or my mother. In fact, his aunt had to take him in. So Thomas Sowell has always had a chip on his shoulder because he never had a father. He never had a mother. He was raised by his aunt. That's a fact. And so Thomas Sowell has always been somebody who was just searching to latch onto somebody because he never had a mother or father. That's a fact. He was raised by his aunt. And so since he never had a biological mother or father to raise him, he's lost. So, because think about it. Even Thomas Sowell once again said that the descendants of chattel slaves, the scholars amongst us, in his own era, say he's crazy. He admits it. Because he's crazy. Like, show me the poor white culture we got from poor whites. Hell, we created American English. We created the music. We created everything. So show me the culture we got, because we got our culture from the slave masters, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, the bourgeois here and the bourgeois there. And then they brought the bourgeois there and brought them to the plantations to teach our ancestors. So we got double bourgeois elite European culture. You haven't shown me us having poor people culture. How? We taught them English. Like, how? These people were looked at as white trash. Like, how can we have poor people culture when our ancestors called poor people white trash? Like you don't make any sense. But it's okay, bro. You can believe it.
Like I said, Dax, I don't have a lot more time. Can I read just one short little thing before I go?
Yeah, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
It says in the 1600s and early 1700s, the line between African slaves and European indentured servants was not always rigid. Both groups often labored on the same plantations, in the same fields, and sometimes slept in rough communal quarters. From Virginia and Maryland show that poor white indentured servants and enslaved Africans sometimes shared cramped housing, food, and work routines. So they were, if one is trash, the other one has to be trash. It's pretty much the only point I'm making.
I want you to listen very, very carefully.
Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Brought us from from the motherland in bondage and chains. Bury our culture and change our names. They claim we're free, yet we are in pain. As long as there's life, there's a lot to gain. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. When God spoke his words, they said he was deranged. Marley sung his songs, they said the same. Malcolm X and Martin Luther fought relentlessly so we could be better. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are praise. Brought us from the motherland in bondage and chains. Bury our culture and change our names. They claim we're free, yet we are in pain. As long as there's life, there's a lot to gain. Just because we're black, they say we are slaves. Speak of righteousness, they say we are